So guys, in this video I'm going to break down some of the criteria I like to look for when I'm playing low float momentum plays. Stay tuned. It's really kind of straightforward. How I do it is I like looking for high volume and low float. It's hard to give an example of a minimum volume. I can give you an example of what kind of float you're looking for. Is you're looking for a float under 20 million would be recommended. Again, you do see some floats up to 30 to 50 million that still run. So it is very kind of contradictory to give you information because there's many kind of different angles to attack this play at. But overall, you're looking for low volume and high float. Now bear in mind that if your float is super low, you don't need a big volume to make that puppy run. So that's what I mean when I say it's kind of contradicting itself. You just have to kind of be aware and learn when you're watching these plays, even if you're not trading them. Just make sure you're learning when you're watching them to see how a super low float moves with such little volume. If it does get crazy volume, this will certainly drive it to the moon. So I just want you to kind of understand by watching them first before you do enter high volume, low float momentum plays. Also bear in mind of a short float. What this means is the percentage of people short in that particular stock. You usually don't want to take it if it's over 10%. But again, I'm going to contradict myself here. If a stock has a high short float ratio percentage on it, it means that if them shorts do get squeezed above a high, you're gonna see it run crazy. So it can contradict itself. Everything you learn in the stock market does contradict itself, but that's what I mean is you just have to get an understanding of when you see them in play, eventually learn how they all work and kind of put it together, and then you will recognize the plays as they happen. So that's one of the criteria I like to see is high volume and low float. Another thing what I like to see is I like to see a stock gapping up, or I like to see it run either in pre-market or after market hours, either the night before or the morning of. I like to see this because it usually hits a lot of scanners, that gap up scanners, which a lot of people pay attention to when they're watching momentum plays. It's shown that a lot of people are interested in it, so a lot of eyes can potentially be on this. What I like to see is I also like to see is has it pulled back during pre-market. So has it ran up, let's say hit $2.50, is it pulling back now? This to me is a perfect play, because what I want to do is I want to ensure to catch it either on the 10 cent above the 10 cent before the break at $0.50, or I want to wait for the full break of that $0.50. So I'd wait for say 251 break. What that is indicating is it's a low float, high volume stock. It has hit the low float momentum scanner, it has hit a high a day scanner and a pre-market high. So it's hitting all these scanners that you want people to start flooding into it then to cause the reaction in that stock to move upwards. I do like focusing on plays like this. I also like to see it that if it is making a certain type of pattern, whether it be a flat top breakout, whether it would be flagging, and again you will learn all these as you get better at your patterns to watch out for these stocks. Another thing is I want to see has it got a short float has it got a short restriction sale on it, which means there's either none or very little shares to short, which this is a good thing if you're looking to go long in a stock. It means that there's not too many shorts piling onto it because the short sale is restricted. So that's another bonus if it is restricted on your platform and it's meeting all the other criteria. So it's another check on the checklist. But again, if it is shortable, I wouldn't let that bother you too much. Again, it's a kind of a contradicting point here. You just have to learn of what way you're looking at it. And finally, you want to see, is there a good news catalyst? If there's a good news catalyst and it has everything else we just spoke about, you can potentially get a good runner. Now bear in mind that you'll probably have 4 or 5 potential runners just before the bell, all mapped out, ready to go. Your ratio is put in place, your targets, your stops, everything is kind of set, and they won't run. That happens, just be prepared for that. And then all of a sudden a new one will come into play that was not expected. So you just have to be aware of these things happening. And then other days all your runners might run. So It's really hard to say, it is the stock market, but that's just my criteria of what I look for when I'm playing low float momentum plays. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something from it. Again, there is a link in the description below. It is a free A to Z module of how to get started in the stock market. And also, if you remember, I did speak about spotting some potential patterns and a little cheat sheet I like to use, which helps me spot pattern breakouts and any patterns in the stock market, whether it be momentum plays or swings. So go check it out, guys. Have a look. God bless. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. There is a link in the description below. I've prepared a full module of everything you need to know how to get started in the stock world from A to Z, all the way from what platforms to use to affordable education. And I go into huge detail about candles. Check that link, guys. I hope you all enjoy.